When you think about the fight against multiple sclerosis, what's more powerful? A super advanced robot or a compassionate human touch? Well, today we're going to see how the future of MS care isn't about choosing one or the other. It's actually a powerful fusion of both.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, right? What if a robot could actually help someone learn to walk again? It sounds wild, but as we're about to see, this single idea is at the absolute heart of a revolution happening in MS care right now.
But, to really get why a walking robot is such a game changer, we have to back up a little. We need to understand the fundamental challenge that so many people with MS face every single day, and that's a battle for mobility. So let's do a quick refresh. What exactly is multiple sclerosis, or MS? Well, it's a neurological disease where the body's own immune system starts attacking the protective coating around nerve fibers. This really messes up the communication lines between the brain and the rest of the body. And the tough part is, it often hits young adults, right when they're in the prime of their lives.
And the scale of this mobility challenge, it's just massive. Because of that nerve damage we just talked about, a staggering 80% of people with MS will face significant problems with walking at some point.
And get this, for half of those people, needing some kind of help to walk, like a cane or a walker, becomes a reality within just 15 years of being diagnosed. You can imagine how that loss of mobility impacts everything, just daily life, quality of life, the whole shebang.
Okay, but this is where the story takes a really fascinating, high-tech turn. Faced with this huge challenge, innovators have brought in a powerful new ally. Yep, the robot.
So what are we even talking about here? I love this analogy. Just think of robotic rehabilitation as a kind of superpowered, tireless physical therapist. It can guide a person's legs through thousands of perfect, identical steps in just one session. A human therapist just couldn't do that. It'd be absolutely exhausting.
And when you put it side by side with conventional therapy, the advantages just pop. With the usual therapy, it's all manual. Therapists get tired, their movements might not be perfectly consistent, and there's a higher risk of the patient falling. But with robotic rehab, you get incredible consistency, it's way less of a physical strain on the therapist, and this is huge, it seriously reduces the risk of falls during the training.
Okay, that all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do we really know it works? This is where we get to the most important part of any new idea like this. You've got to follow the evidence. So, to figure this out, scientists did what's called a systematic review. And look at this. They started with this giant pool of almost 7,000 studies. From there, they just started filtering and filtering and filtering, getting rid of duplicates, papers that weren't relevant, until, bam, they were left with just the 12 best, most high-quality studies. That is how you find the real truth. So after all that work, what did they find? Well, they looked at two key tests. First, the 6-minute walk test. It's simple. It just measures how far you can walk in 6 minutes, your endurance. And after robotic rehab, patients could walk farther. That's a huge win. Then there's the timed up and go test. This one's about mobility and balance. Here, a faster time is better. And guess what? Patients got faster. Their times went down. Another clear win. So it all comes down to this. This is the big conclusion, straight from the scientific paper. After crunching all that data, the researchers were able to say, definitively, that robotic rehab was effective for helping people with MS improve their walking. The evidence is just clear. But hold on. As incredible as this tech is, it's not the whole story. Not even close. To see how a real difference is made, we have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because when it comes to MS, it really does take a village. And this is a really important point. Amazing tech. A walking robot is still just a tool. The real magic, where the true progress happens, is in how that tool gets used by a whole team of dedicated human experts working together.
And this chart really shows you what I mean. Just look at the huge range of specialists involved in taking care of someone with MS. You've got physiotherapy, psychology, urology, the list goes on. Each one of them is a vital piece of a much bigger puzzle.
This is what's called a multidisciplinary team. So let's meet the core players, right? First up, you have the neurologist. They're kind of like the head coach, guiding the overall medical plan. Then you've got the MS nurse, who is often the main point of contact for the patient. You have the physiotherapist, focused on mobility and strength. They'd be the one using that awesome robot we talked about. And so important, you have the psychologist, who helps people deal with the huge emotional and mental weight of living with a chronic disease.
And this
This is why that team matters so much. This quote from a patient just says it all, doesn't it? I would stress less if I knew the MS nurse is taking care of it. Wow, that just perfectly captures the value of that human, high-touch support system. It's about trust, it's about reassurance, it's about knowing you're not in this fight alone.
Which brings us right back to where we started. The future of care here isn't a choice. It's not the robot or the human. It's about bringing them together. It's a collaboration. It's exactly where high-tech meets high-touch.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's pretty simple, actually. This isn't about technology versus teamwork. It's about the incredible synergy you get when you put them together. High-tech tools, like these amazing robots, are at their absolute best when they are guided and used by a high-touch, compassionate, collaborative team of human experts.
This combination is already changing the game for people with MS, giving them new tools and, really, new hope in their fight for mobility. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. If this powerful combo of high-tech and high-touch can do this for MS, what other complex conditions could it transform next?